I'm getting my car repaired next week. Alessandra hasn't gotten her nails done during quarantine. I had my phone stolen last week. All of these sentences are examples of passive causative grammar. Today, I'm going to teach you all about passive causative, how to use it in real life, how to form the sentences, and all of the exceptions to the rules. Hey there, I'm Gabby. Welcome to English with Gabby. Today, I'm going to teach you all about passive causative grammar. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can get updates about when I post my weekly videos. One of the sentences that I just brought up earlier in the video was, I had my phone stolen. This is because passive causative grammar is used for two main reasons. The first reason why we use passive causative grammar is when we're going to talk about something bad that has happened to us. For example, I had my phone stolen. The second reason why we use passive causative is when we're talking about a service that has been done for us. For example, Peter got his house repaired after Hurricane Katrina. Again, Peter got his house repaired after Hurricane Katrina. In this example, Peter paid someone else to fix his house for him. In the first example, where I said I had my phone stolen, someone did something bad to me. Let's first talk about the difference between doing something to someone and doing something for someone. For example, did you hear what Damien's boss did to him? In this sentence, did something to him implies something negative. But if I say, oh my gosh, did you hear what Damien's boss did for him? That would mean that it was something positive. So this is the difference between to someone and for someone. So let's talk about the sentence. Peter had or got his house repaired after Hurricane Katrina. This is a service that he paid someone else to do because he couldn't do it himself. So this is, again, the first reason why we would use passive causative. I had my phone stolen, someone did something bad to me, and I don't know who they are. Remember that with passive causative, this is something that we don't do ourselves. So this is very different from passive voice or from regular causative verbs. So again, this is not something that we do ourselves. Someone else does it. Another quick note here is that the subject always has to be a person. Let's now take a look at the form of passive causative. Peter had or got his house repaired after Hurricane Katrina. When we're creating passive causative sentences, we have to put the subject first. So notice Peter is the subject. After that, we use have or get. Now, just for this grammar, have and get have the same meaning. So you can put have or get, it doesn't matter. Both are correct. So subject plus have or get. Then we put the object, his house. And then we put the past participle, or V3 as some of us call it. In this case, it's repaired. And then after we put the past participle, we put the time. And as usual, the time is optional in most English sentences. So again, Peter, subject, had or got his house, object, repaired, past participle, after Hurricane Katrina, time. Two important things to remember when you're creating a passive causative sentence. Again, I just want to remind you that the subject has to be a person. The second is that you have to remember to put have or get into the correct verb tense. So in this case, it's past simple tense, but we can put have or get into any of the English verb tenses. And that's what's a little bit confusing for students. Now that you know how to form passive causative sentences, let's do a little quiz. Here's the practice sentence. Someone stole all her jewels last night. How would you change this sentence? First off, ask yourself, who is the subject? Next question, what form are you going to use for have and get? Next question, what is the object? The next thing we have to figure out is what is the verb's past participle form? And the last thing we need to figure out, what is the time? Pause the video and try to figure this out right now. If you said she had or got all her jewels stolen last night, you were correct. Great job. If you didn't get it, keep practicing. Now let's talk about the most important thing. How are you going to use this in the real world? During the time that this video is recorded, right now, most of the world is still under COVID quarantine. Here in New York City, where I'm from, many places are still closed and we're still limited in what we can do. So we've been talking a lot about services and what we want to have done as soon as quarantine is over. For example, Alessandra hasn't had her nails done. This is actually a common topic of conversation right now. So one thing that I've told my friends is I haven't had my hair cut since March, which is when quarantine started here in New York City. Now with passive causative, we can also add modals. For example, I really need to get my nails done. If we add modals to the sentence, we put the modal right after the subject. So it's subject plus modal plus have or get, but in the base form. So I need to get my nails done. And of course, I can add the time if I need to by saying soon, next week, next month, as soon as possible, after quarantine. This is also a really common talking point when we're talking about things that we need to get done. So chores. I need to get my car fixed. I need to get my windows cleaned. I need to get my passport form filled out. So this is a really common talking point in American English. You might be asking yourself, why can't I just use another grammar form? Here's the thing, you can. You're never forced to use passive causative in English if you don't feel comfortable. This rule applies to a lot of English grammar. However, if you want your grammar to progress, you should start using more difficult forms of grammar like this one, especially because this is a grammar topic that is common in American English. So start using it. But to give you more details about the question you just asked, if I say, I had my phone stolen yesterday, I could just say, someone stole my phone, which is an active voice sentence. And it's possible. But in this case, most likely, I would choose to use passive causative because of the specific context of someone doing something bad to me. So if I'm telling my friends about a bad day that I've had, I would say, oh my gosh, first I had my phone stolen. Then I had my seat taken on the subway. Then I had my visa application denied at the consulate. So again, if we're talking about a bad day, this is very common grammar for us to use. So there you have it. This is how you use passive causative grammar in American English. Here's your homework for right now. Go to the comment section and try to create a passive causative sentence that applies to you. I'll try to correct as many of these sentences as I can. Well, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.